Hello, I'm happy to have you here with me. And I just want to do a bit of recording that is meant to create an awareness. Awareness, they say, is the beginning of a change. And there are many things that people live with, which they hate, and but they are not aware of how it began, why they do life the way they do, and why they pay so exorbitantly for little things that they would have overcome. If you're like me, when we were teenagers, and I know that that is still happening today. If you're like me, you might have spent a lot of time doing everything to gain your independence, to try to become a man or a woman of your own. Um, so a lot of things were done to be able to say, I can do this by myself. I don't want to rely on anyone else or someone else. I can I can own this. In fact, let me put it this way. It's a time when we did everything navigating from um I want to be a man of my own. I want to be independent. I find ways to be independent, making my own decisions, um, prove to anyone near and dear that I can handle life alone. It's part of growing up and seeking to gain confidence as a young adult. And that in the process becomes a habit that focuses on more of me, and it doesn't allow or even give you room to think much about we and us. It's about me, what I can do. And of course, the society is not helping in any way. The society wants you to show that you are a superman. You have been able to achieve what others can't. If possible, you are able to bring those people to, uh, you know, pay some respect. They'll be referring to you as the Superman or Superwoman. And so um, that process meant we had to navigate from being adolescent, navigate from um, I want to do everything on my own. Uh, what am I saying? It means you have to become someone who can do everything on your own without really asking others to assist you. It means I've got this, and not so much of we have got this, because for some people, it's even a time when you begin to withdraw from the midst of your friends, the midst of your brothers and sisters, the siblings, and that becomes a new habit from childhood days. And you have now become an adolescent, and that means you've established who you are. And of course, you scan consciously, unconsciously, most times subconsciously, just look around to see who do I want to be like? Who do I want to be behaving like? Who do I want to be shining like? And when that becomes your your habit, it poses a challenge to you when you are trying to build a relationship. Or even, I mean, especially when you are getting married or you've gotten married, it becomes a big challenge. It requires us. When we are moving from that adolescence time that we have developed a new habit of I I want this, I want to decide this, I want to prove to myself and to everybody who knows me, my family in particular, and maybe classmates at school that I can do live on my own. I want to prove to them that I got it, like they would say. Okay. It's no longer that. It now becomes your goal to begin to think. In fact, relationship generally requires you thinking about us instead of me and I. See where the challenge begins. So, what you struggle so much to achieve, which was independence, can now, if you overdo it, if you don't do it with a sense of guide, with some guidance, with a sense of balance, which is rare, if you don't do it with a lot of guidance, it becomes a challenge or it poses a lot of challenges in a relationship which you desire to be lasting. And what will it do? It brings some struggles of shifting from your solo lifestyle to a shared lifestyle, difficulties in asking for help or compromising when you are already used to handling everything solo. You are already used to doing things by yourself to prove that it can be done by you. The hesitation to rely on someone else when you've been self reliant for so long, because it will take time. It will take time as soon as you begin to see, I made a good choice there, I made a good decision there. Here and there, you make mistakes, but the pursuit is actually to prove to yourself primarily, I can do it. And of course, you also are interested in proving to others, like I mentioned before. So becoming interdependent will become the new challenge. Now, how do you transition from being independent to becoming interdependent? Because that is needed if you want to have a healthy relationship. You need to be supported by others. You need some leaning on and celebrating together. And this comes to kind of counter what you were laboring before to achieve, which is your independence. So there's a kind of tug of war between independence and interdependence. Holding on the personal freedom and space versus sharing responsibilities and being vulnerable is where the challenge is. The challenge of compromising on things that matter to you. Learning that relationship requires a mix of both independence and collaboration. That is a very serious point. So these are the kind of things we're going to look at. What used to be the main thing for you now becomes what you have to walk and overcome. It can be uncomfortable. It can now begin to feel like, oh, so I'm going to surrender my control to someone else or allow somebody to begin to invade my space. There are things we need to look at for you to know there can be a balance. There can be a balance. But if that balance is not there, then it becomes a big problem. For many, even though they read the Bible, pray, fast, do miracles, see signs and wonders, speak in tongues, it can be a huge challenge. That is what we want to look at to see how we can help you overcome that challenge. I tell you, what I'm telling you now has spoiled many homes silently, and some people would rather die than allow that independence go. Some take it too far. they can't even start a relationship because they fear of letting go of their independence. Some will rather die, even though they are talking about, I want to get married. The fear that catches them is, how will I surrender my independence? I want to buy the things I want to buy, sleep when I want to sleep, wake up when I want to wake up. That is what we are going to look at. How can you do that even if you are married and you are the woman, you want to get your PhD, and maybe your husband is not interested in reading that far? How do you bring this harmony into the relationship or your marriage? So this is what we are going to look at, so that the process is not a problem. It's just one of those challenges. You might have a bit of crisis, but it will be growth crisis and not the crisis to bring your relationship or your marriage to an end. Now, this is something that is going to demand what we call the power of shifting. And where are we shifting from? Shifting from I to we. Might not be as easy as it sounds, might not also be as challenging as it might sound. That's why it's something we are going to look at. And I invite you to come in and let's see how we can help you. This is um, something that needs to be done. You have to be ready to move from I can do this by myself to we can do this together. The transition is powerful when done with trust, respect, and mutual support. But before you get into the place of mutual support, because maybe one person might be aware of what we're talking about, but for the other person to be able to do it with you, that's why we're here. If after we discuss this, you think that both of you in your relationship, you need to be helped, then we can discuss. But for now, that's where I'm going to stay into. I'm going to end. I believe that this gives you an idea of what we are talking about. It will be my pleasure to help you. It will be our pleasure. When I say our pleasure, I mean myself and my team will be available to help you. And of course, if you go through the course and it doesn't help as you would want it to, then we can have a session for that one-on-one coaching. And if you want to do it faster than anybody else, then coaching will help. When others are struggling to figure it out, coaching makes it faster and easier to achieve. Well, that's where I bring this recording to a close. I believe that this helps. And I want to invite you, join us in our mentoring program for those planning to get married and to enjoy a lasting marriage relationship. God bless you. I look forward to seeing you on the inside. If you have any comment, any question, please drop it below this video. And God bless you and see you on the inside. Bye for now.